Hello, the internet. So it's been a while since I've done a video where I'm kind of directly addressing the audience. The last few I've done been kind of music video-ish, throwing back to what I used to be doing with my videos before officially starting this blog. And the main reason is I've still just kind of been struggling to find the format. Initially, when I came up with the idea for this show, it was going to be kind of just like a video diary. Just me, kind of just everything I do every day. I document it, how I feel, what I'm thinking. And then I kind of started to second guess myself when I started thinking about marketability and making it buzzworthy and just trying to make it something I can make money off of. And then I feel like I kind of lost the purpose of it. I was going through a lot of depression. I just went through a breakup and I was feeling pretty low. And I'm still actually going through a breakup. But this blog was sort of what my brain threw out at me as a solution for working through this. Was I was just going to kind of do a public video diary. And so today, the first time I'm really going to technically honor that, and I'm going to talk about my ex-girlfriend and how that whole thing transpired, how it went down, and why I am where I am now. She threw out this accusation that I'm a narcissist. Now, I instantly, when she said that, I was like, yeah, I probably am, because I know that I have some of the traits and characteristics of it. And so this was actually kind of a good thing to me that she had said this. I was like, oh, well, maybe she's finally pinpointed it, because I know I'm dysfunctional in relationships. I've never really had healthy relationships in my past. And I've done a lot of personal work on myself to try to get to a place where I'm better at relationships. And I really felt like I was there. But then I realized after my last girlfriend and the one before her that I'm still attracting very dysfunctional people, and thus I'm still a very dysfunctional person. And so when she said that I was a narcissist, I just automatically assumed that she was correct, and I felt like almost kind of relieved. I was like, somebody's finally pinpointed it. I finally know what it is, what my dysfunction is, so now I can work on it. And so I immediately set out on the internet, looking for videos on YouTube and articles and anything I could read on narcissism, specifically recovery, how to get better from it. And I'm reading all this stuff that's really discouraging. You know, people with narcissistic personality disorder or other, like, I think they call them category B or something like that, personality disorders, have a very, very low recovery rate. They pretty much are just stuck where they're at because they refuse to see their problem. And that to me was my first tip off. Is one of the major defining characteristics of a narcissist is their inability to see it, their inability to blame themselves. They will not honestly introspect. And so that made me think that I probably wasn't one. Now, I'll be clear at this point, I still haven't made it clear in my own mind that I'm not a narcissist. I know for a fact I have many narcissistic traits. It's very possible I could be a covert narcissist, or I could be a codependent narcissist, or maybe I'm just codependent because some of those traits cross over. And in fact, that even seems like the more likely thing, because codependents are attracted to narcissists like a moth to the flame. The more I started reading about this, trying to find my own dysfunction and trying to validate her claim that I was a narcissist, I start seeing all kinds of stuff that really just resonates with me. It sounds very familiar, but it doesn't sound familiar for things that I've done. It's things that she has been doing to me. So love bombing me is one of the number one things they're going to do in a relationship. From the beginning of the relationship, it was just pouring it on 100%. I'm the greatest guy in the world. She needs to, spend every second she can with me. She texts me all day, every day. Love bombing. Okay, so whenever I finally call her out on some of these weird things that she's doing, one of which is what's called triangulation. She introduces another male into the situation, one that she knows will incite jealousy and insecurity, and then she'll talk him up. So whenever you're doing something wrong, he is always the idealized version of what you're doing wrong. He's a card that she will use to play against you. Triangulation. It's you can read up on all this. I am not a professional on any of this. This is just what I've kind of read in the last week. So there was the love bombing, there's the triangulation, and then there's what they call stonewalling. Stonewalling is where you call them out on their dysfunction, and rather than admit to it or validate it or even own any of the things that you're pointing out that they've done, they will completely deny 100%. They've not done these things, you're irrational, you're crazy, and I refuse to talk about this, and then they will cut off contact completely. This is textbook stonewalling. And then during this time, she would do all these devaluing things, which is another feature of a narcissist, something they'll do right following stonewalling, is they will devalue you and eventually discard you. So I fit into this pattern precisely. So I'm still kind of on my own path to recovery. I know I'm dysfunctional. I just don't know where yet. I don't know 100% yet that it's not narcissism. I know that it's certainly not to the degree that my ex-girlfriend was. I'm not doing any of these things like triangulation or devaluation or trying to discard or however, I was doing things such as love bombing, for sure. I mean, I was very sucked in at the beginning. I see a lot of other narcissistic features of myself that, of course, here's the thing. I still, to a very large extent, even though I have changed dramatically from the person that I used to be, I mean, in every way imaginable, I used to be almost the exact opposite of who I am today. And I believe that the old me was fully a narcissist, big time. And the problem with me trying to analyze myself now is that I still so largely see myself as that person that I used to be, that I've worked really hard to overcome being. And I know I have a lot more emotional intelligence now. I'm a lot less dysfunctional. I've looked at a lot of my problems, I've addressed them, and I've become kind of this introspective person that tries to be self-editing and self-analyzing and try to fix whatever flaws I have. Self-improvement has become a really large, big, important feature to my life. I largely see myself as this old person still. And so, like, whenever I put myself through this narcissist test, I'm not sure how to answer. Like, on some of these questions, they ask, like, do you have a sense of grandiosity? I was like, well, no, I used to. So how do I technically answer? Because for the vast majority of my life, the answer was yes. In the last 5 years, not so much. If I'm answering all the questions, and of course, this is what I worry. I worry that I'm manipulating myself, that if I truly am a narcissist, I am by definition unable to see my dysfunction, and I would do things such as what I'm doing now to try to rationalize away why I'm not this way or why I'm not that way. And I guess a big part of why I'm doing this video today is because I am openly inviting my friends or anybody who watches this video to cross-analyze. I want to know what my dysfunction is, and if you can offer some insight, it would probably change my life. I've already come a very long way, and I'm just ready to have happy, normal, functional relationships in my life. I've never had a relationship that's, lasted honestly without going on and off over a year. When I say that, I mean, I've had relationships over a year. It was we're together for 6 months, we break up for 2 months, we're back for 5 months, we break up for a month. So I know there's something deeply still an issue for me that I need to get to the bottom of. I don't think narcissism is it. I could be completely wrong, but I don't. I am almost 100% certain that my ex-girlfriend is a narcissist. And while I'm saying this too, there's some people that are going to be watching this video that know her. Don't think poorly of her, because I need to make it clear here that I'm not bashing her. I am still very much in love with this woman. And aside from these, little things of dysfunction, and we all have dysfunction, I don't want to judge her completely on that, she's still my dream girl. She's still every bit of every woman I've ever wanted to be with. She's an amazing person. It's the reason why I fell so hard for her. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm painting her in a negative light. I think she's an amazing person. But I think she needs to get honest with herself. I think she needs to look at some of these things and try to make a change. I fear that she won't, which is really upsetting to me, because as somebody that I guess at this point kind of question how much I really actually love, but I'm still very much infatuated with her, I'll say that much, and I want good things for her, and it hurts me to see her so completely blind of her own problem as I'm starting to outline, some of these features that I'm seeing in her, and seeing her complete inability to look at it and fitting that profile so much that she just refuses to even consider it. It hurts my feelings a little bit. It hurts them because I want to see her do what I'm trying to do, which is at least trying to take an honest look. She knows she's dysfunctional. She told me, and this is the interesting thing, was that from the very beginning of the relationship, she was so worried that I was going to see her dysfunctions and leave her. She was so worried about me thinking she was crazy. I mean, really worried about me thinking that she was crazy. And now here by the end of the relationship, she's completely flipped things around. It's all about how crazy I am. And now she completely refuses to acknowledge any craziness in herself. This is the feedback that I need from people. People who are watching this, this is what I'm asking you to actively engage and do. Ask me questions. If you suspect me of one kind of dysfunction or another, Ask me questions. I will reply in another video. If there's specific information you need to know to make a diagnosis or an assessment, just let me know. Write it in the comments, and I'll respond in a video or in the comments, or possibly both. So that's it for me today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and please do leave comments. So I'll talk to you guys again soon.